I'm back with another video. Married at First Sight. Season 3, what is this? Episode 9. Alright, let's get right on into it. So the episode starts off with Neil talking to his neighbor slash friend and Samantha talking to her mom. And so Neil's friend was like, okay, well, I thought that you and Sam would be in your house. What are you doing home? And he was like, well, let me go ahead and fill you in on that. So the friend was like, so your problem right now is just the living situation. And he was like, no, it's more than that. It's communication, just different, the different little things that Sam and Neil have going on. So Samantha's mom told her first initial reaction to Neil that she thought he was a really good person. Sam was like, there are differences. She has to learn how to get along with that. Her mom said you can't change a person, you have to learn how to accept a person. Sam agreed. She said that just because they're living in separate houses doesn't mean that the relationship is over. In my personal opinion, I feel like that they are heading toward that. Because one of the things that Neil says in his confessionals a lot is that he refuses to stay in her house. He refuses to stay in her house. He feels like a guest in her house. And that's last week's episode I said it. That's the way she makes him feel. You know, you couldn't have a key. You have to coordinate with us. And I was like, oh, really? No. And she did not say, okay, well, fine. We don't have to stay here. We can go stay at your house. He always has to come to her house to do the projects or to cook or whatever the case may be. He is always at her house. She doesn't make the effort to go to his house, so I don't see this relationship sufficing this experiment. Tre and Vanessa are going to the dog trainer. They are going to get Nola some lessons because Nola has been a little spoiled brat. It has just been her and Vanessa, and she's having a little hard time adjusting to Tre. Not so much, but Nola just needs some training, as we saw in the first episode when she put the blanket down and she had to go get another one because Lola decided that was going to be her puppy bag. So they're just training with Nola, teaching her little tricks with the treats. And then they start talking about kids. And Vanessa wants a boy and a girl, no more than 2 kids. Tre kind of agreed. Of course, they are not wanting to start anytime soon because, of course, they just met each other. But it was nice to see that they are really moving on in their relationship and having those conversations that you're supposed to have as a newlywed or as someone freshly dating. Whatever the case may be, kudos to Tre and Vanessa. So they move on to David and Ashley. David's sitting outside. Ashley comes outside and she, wants to talk to him about the things that happened with Dr. Joseph. David is really disappointed with Ashley right now. He feels like Ashley should have told him herself without Dr. Joseph. She says it was a tough conversation. She didn't really want to hurt his feelings. All this is true, but this is something that you should have said. Like Samantha, I don't really care for Samantha's approach to a lot of things, but on the honeymoon, she told him, I'm not really attracted to you, but I'm willing to make it work. That's all she had to say. That David is gun-ho, hey, I'm in it to win it attitude. I think he would have adjusted a lot better than just kind of being hit over head 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks later. And so, they agreed that they were going to put forth an effort and really, really work and try to make the marriage. So, Dr. Joseph gave the couples some assignments. So, Neil and Samantha are the first to try the assignments. They had to sit Indian style with their knees touching and holding hands, but they did like the hot hand thing, Neil and Samantha. And Neil was all into the experiment. He wanted to... Oh my God, sorry y'all. My phone is going off. He wanted to do the experiment. He wanted it to be a serious situation. He was all into it. Samantha is still super, super uncomfortable. So she's making those goofy faces and she's like, oh, this minute is taking so long. And it's really disappointing. It's really kind of heartbreaking when you're really trying and the other person does not want to take it seriously. We know this is the way that she tries to get out of an uncomfortable situation, but in this situation, especially being that close and that intimate, it really was heart-wrenching for Neil to have to go through it. I felt disrespected by it too. I mean, try to take it one thing serious, but that's Neil and Samantha. So David and Ashley do the experiment also. Same experiment as Sam and Vanessa. And then they were supposed to say what they like about each other or something of that nature. David goes off. He tells her all the things. Of course, he's really into it, real fun-loving, real easygoing. And he has general likes for Ashley. Ashley, she's like, what I like about you, it is not that hard to say. I like your smile. I like your cologne. I like the way you dress. I like your car. Something. But she was, and David kind of just had enough. And he was like, I'm sick of this. You know, I'm really, really trying. And yeah, it's not like you're not trying. And, you know, how hard is it to say what you like about somebody? She's like, well, I'm just really uncomfortable. How can you be uncomfortable about telling somebody what you like about them? Hey, telling someone what you like about them. I was just like, good job, David, because she needed to hear that from him, because she is really, really not trying at all. And I watch other people's review and they feel like, you know, she's just a slow pace. I was cool with the slow pace until certain things start to come up. Y'all excuse them because every time I turn on this camera, they want to play. So I got to meet with the spiritual advisor. Let's start off with Tre and Vanessa. Tre and Vanessa, he's very happy. All the experts, I feel, are really happy to meet with Tre and Vanessa because their relationship is going so well. They have a few bumps in their road, but for the most part, they're doing great. So he asked what was some of the things that he complimented on how things were going. He asked them what do they feel about spirituality. Vanessa was like, well, I just need to, we just need to kind of connect and, see what we like spiritually. She was very surprised to find out that Tre was like, I say a little prayer all the time. I say, Lord, bless me, bless our marriage, help me to be a better husband, whatever the case may be. But she was very shocked. And the spiritual advisor saw that on her face and he was like, how does that make you feel? And she was just like beaming, glowing that, he felt that this was a great thing and he prayed about it. And I was very excited about it too. So he gave them an assignment to try to create something together because they have different hobbies. Tre is like a more sporty person. Vanessa is a more sophisticated person. So they went to sip and paint, and it's more like painting with a twist here in Texas. And I saw Miss Diva did it there in Miami too. So they were a couple, so they had them paint the picture as different parts of the picture and they put it together. It came out really nice. I really liked it. The spiritual advisor met with Neil and Samantha, and he touched on them not living together, but he tried not to dwell on it. He told them to focus on different things. So Samantha is Jewish, and so he told them to make a Jewish meal together. So that's what they're going to do. David and Ashley, he met with them, and he tried his best to help them as much as possible. So I don't have much to say on that one. So that's what. All right. So in these two segments that I watched, they everything just kind of came full circle. Let's start off with Tre and Vanessa. Tre and Vanessa came back home. They talked about their experience at the painting. Tre decided he was going to make Vanessa a dinner, so he made his versions of taco salad, which is like Doritos, lettuce, and some ground meat. But kudos to Tre for trying to cook. Then they also at the end of their session with the spiritual advisor, they gave them their wedding picture. So they went back to that, and where they were looking at their wedding pictures. Tre and Vanessa's wedding pictures look so natural. They look like they belong together, kind of like Jason and Courtney in the first season. They did have a couple of awkward ones in there because, they are meeting for the very first time. But for the most part, I love their wedding pictures. Let's go to David and Ashley. David and Ashley, they try to take a break from all the monotony of them not getting along, she not being attracted to he, and they went to play kickball. Yay! Ashley looks so cute in her little outfit, so short. And they had a good time. They actually got along. So they went back and they looked at their wedding pictures, which is something that I think that they definitely needed, especially Ashley, because she got to see some of the awkwards. Like the one picture where he was all happy-go-lucky walking down the aisle, and she's just walking down the aisle looking like I don't know. And she was like, why was I looking like that? Maybe it's, but yeah. Yeah, and then when she didn't want to kiss, and you could tell the awkwardness. So I think those pictures she really needed to see. Neil and Samantha, they are making the matzo ball soup and potato larka. I think that's what she said. Neil got to make the larka. He couldn't pronounce it. She corrected him. Whatever. They sat down. They got to eat. And Neil was able to finally kind of open up to Sam about his dad. And which made Sam be emotional because, and I've said this to people before too, because I don't know if I've ever expressed it on YouTube, but both of my parents are deceased. My dad died when I was 18. My mom died when I was in my 20s. And you never know how much time that you're going to have with the person. So she was expressing that to him, and it made her emotional. And even me talking about it right now kind of makes me emotional about it. So I was happy that they were able to connect on there, and Neil seemed that he was receptive about it. So that was our episode of Married First Sight. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please comment, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.